Does it make you more likely to fire Rosenstein? Do you still have confidence in him after reading the memo?
You figure that one out.
Those two, Rod and Rachel, are Harvard graduates. They are experienced lawyers. Rod's had 27 years in the department. Rachel's had a number of years in the department previously, and so they both represent the kind of quality and leadership that we want in the department.
All right, that was President Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions talking Friday about Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. Trump and Sessions appearing to have very different feelings about the man who oversees the Mueller investigation. Meanwhile, the ranking Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee, Jerry Nadler, releasing a rebuttal to the Nunes memo just within the last hour. That 6-page rebuttal obtained exclusively by NBC News, challenging the core conclusions of the Nunes memo. Let's bring in Frank Montoya, former National Counterintelligence Executive and Office of the Director of National Intelligence and former FBI Special Agent. Seth Waxman, partner at Dickinson Wright, dealing with governmental investigations and SEC enforcement. There is that question of Rod Rosenstein right now and what will happen next. When we look at what has been said so far, there seems to be differing objectives coming from the administration right now. Frank, what do you take away in terms of the memo that came out on Friday? We have Jerry Nadler saying there is not enough information here to point, if you will, a finger at Rosenstein right now. And then, of course, we have both Sessions and Donald Trump saying different things.
Well, I think that Representative Nadler's comments today are a great reminder that this is a legal process, not something that is subject to popular opinion, that the focus is going to remain on that legal process. I mean, when you look at the memo itself and what it was supposed to allege or accuse or whatever it is their intent was, the fact of the matter is it didn't meet the expectation. What this investigation continues to look like, it's always looked like to me, but continues to look like, is a legitimate FBI counterintelligence / criminal investigation into wrongdoing.
When we talk about the question of sources and methods and that this declassified memo was going to be seen by the public, that was a concern, right, from the intelligence community. Seth, I want to read first of all, or I want to play first of all, that which was said by former acting CIA Director John McLaughlin on the memo and its impact on the intelligence community. Then I'll get your reaction.
If you're in the intelligence community now, you might think twice about what you're going to write down on a piece of paper. You might think twice about what you're going to share. You may share it, but you may worry about whether in sharing it, it will be taken and used for partisan political purposes out of context.
So, Seth, when you look at the memo, do you agree again here with the former acting director?
Well, yeah, I think that can clearly have a chilling effect on law enforcement. If people know, intelligence officers know that their words could be subject to this kind of scrutiny in a way that really probably was never expected, the release of classified information or declassified information now, that of course can have a chilling effect. You know, as a former federal prosecutor, what really struck me about this whole memo and the allegations in it is that you've had, maybe not just one, but 2, 3, or maybe even 4 federal judges, independent FISA judges, who made findings of probable cause. In other words, it's more likely than not that Carter Page was in fact a Russian operative, a secret Russian operative who had been taking bribes from Russian officials in exchange for trying to influence Donald Trump and his team to somehow reduce sanctions against Russian oligarchs should he take office. Those are incredibly serious allegations, and the Nunes memo attacks none of it. It doesn't mention those facts. It doesn't undercut those facts, and I think it's safe to say at this point, if Mr. Nunes had any indication that those core facts, the heart of that FISA memo, were wrong, that we'd be hearing about it now.
Intelligence, sources, and methods. Please react to that here, Frank. And I'm going to read a portion also from Don McGahn in the cover letter to this Nunes memo when it was declassified. And in short, he is saying, would this serve the public interest, this declassification? And he is saying it does. Does it?
It does. I mean, when you look at what Mr. McLaughlin was saying, we have done a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and toiled really quite mightily since the 2001 events to improve information sharing throughout the community, to improve the ability to work together with other agencies. And while it may seem like a small thing that, okay, the memo confirms that there was a FISA collection against a guy named Carter Page, the fact is that there was a lot of effort that went into putting together the application to get the authorization to conduct that investigation. And what this does is it puts the effective information sharing, the effective intelligence collection that went into this process, it does put it at risk. It does make people wonder that if they contribute to the next one, are they going to get exposed, needlessly exposed, in the same way that this information got exposed? Yeah, it's a big challenge, and it's one that I think is leaving a lot of people very frustrated right now. For what purpose? Political, only political in nature.
The question of, has trust between the intelligence community and the American people now been decreased? Has not destroyed, but maybe lowered? And when we look at a new poll coming out from Axios, it shows that trust in the FBI, at least, has gone down. What's your thought, Seth, on this?
Well, you have the President of the United States lodging a frontal attack on this country's intelligence community. I mean, he is the President of the United States. His words matter. People listen. They listen, people who favor him and people who are against him. So if you have a person of that significance coming out and blatantly attacking the intelligence community, calling them corrupt at every turn, of course that's going to have a bleed-over effect and clearly can cut into the confidence that the public has in its law enforcement agencies. And it's clearly at this point, in large part, if not in totally, politically motivated.
The president even tweeted about that and politicizing the intelligence community. Depending on which side of the aisle you're on, you'll point to different actors who are causing that to happen. Frank, are we looking at just the first step of the intelligence that our security, our national security depends on, of being politicized? Are we early on in this process, you think, Frank?
No, this has gone on for over a year now, and the sad
I guess
thing
I'm asking,
about
do you
is
expect it to get worse?
It's going to continue, and that's part of the challenge. I mean, you look at inside the FBI, for instance, and how the organization is trying to deal with this. You got a new director who is trying to assert his authority. He's trying to show that he's a leader. The question is, how does he respond to these ongoing accusations, these sucker punches that we're taking almost daily? I mean, the big challenge there is, this is unprecedented for an organization but like the FBI to face these kinds of attacks. How do you react? And it's not so much about making people feel happy, but how you protect your independence, how you protect all of the effort that has gone into building public trust over the years, how you protect the integrity of investigations. It's all a big challenge, and there's no playbook for it. We're making it up as we go along, and that's part of the challenge or the difficulty of the situation we find ourselves in.
Yeah, we're watching a politicizing of intelligence. We'll see who and how they will plug that hole in the boat. Frank Montoya, Seth Waxman, thank you.
Thank you.